What's up, everybody? Got a super fun and incredibly valuable conversation to have around, the power of building an authentic brand. For me, the power of authenticity is not only does it connect with people on social media, but it's inspiring. Like, you're pumping yourself up when you're coming from a place that lacks extreme authenticity. You aren't as confident, you're not having as much fun, you're not really bringing whatever genius you have to the table. You're not bringing it. Like, all the things that are best within a leader come from authenticity. So couldn't think of two better leaders to have on this call to have this topic. Sean Herrero. Sean, how long has it been that you've been a full-time loan officer? Is it 6 years now? Going on your
6 years.
6 years, and I don't think he's doing $200 million of volume right now, but one of the fastest climbs from new loan officer to 200 million in production. What is your goal this year for the kind of production you plan to do?
I want to do at least 100 this year. My goal is to get back. I want 200 to be the norm, regardless of the market. Like, that's the bottom line.
Got it. So, I mean, awesome numbers. Taking nothing away from other loan officers that are on social media and not doing a lot of production. It's just Sean is doing, he's a $100 million producer. He is not busy on social media. He's doing business on social media. So, and then I also think, just when it comes from a speaking authenticity, anyone who's ever seen Sean in the interviews that I've done with him, he just comes across as one of the most extremely authentic mortgage advisors I know. So good to have you here, brother.
No, thank you always.
All right. And then we have someone who's coaching Sean right now. And I'm stoked that, Roland, you got Sean to come to some events, to get out there and be more public with what he's doing. But his coach that's helping him bring his authenticity into a competitive advantage. What's up, Roland Cochrun?
What's up? It's funny with Sean. Sean was actually the first mortgage person I ever followed. So this is, years and years and years ago. But when I was not on social actually for a long time. I was one of those people that was like, I don't need social media. But when I got on social media, I created a Instagram account. Sean was, I think you were the first person I followed.
I had no idea. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. And then Roland's got a great story. Anybody that follows Roland on social media, he puts a lot of intention, a lot of authenticity. He did not come from the mortgage space. He came from the entrepreneur space. He was an entrepreneur in healthcare, had an exit, and is living his life in an extremely authentic and fun and cool way. So looking forward to this conversation. So Roland, let's go to you first with a question. When you talk about authentic branding, what does that mean? Like, define that. And I'm going to come to you with that, Sean. And let's just spend like the first, 15, 20-ish minutes, really like, what does this mean? And then let's get into tactics and strategies to do loans, to do business.
Yeah, it's interesting. My experience with it was different. I got kind of thrown into watching authenticity work. So I hit that point where a lot of us will hit, where experienced just some burnout. Honestly, I was getting a little checked out. I was getting tired of doing a lot of the things that I felt like I had to do, and I gave up, but not in the fashion that most people think. I decided, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm just going to connect with my referral partners in a very Roland way. And so when my coach at the time, he was asking, well, let's go through your top 5. What do you have in common with why do the top 5 people refer to you? And I said, honestly, I have no idea. And he said, no, they refer to you for a reason. Tell me why. And I said, I really don't know. I said, you know what? I had a beer with all of them. Close to when I first opened my shop, I had a beer with all of them. So they said, cool, I want you to have a beer with all 5 of them at the same exact time. And then that ended up evolving into Taco Tuesday, which a lot of you've heard me talk about that before. But I dropped everything, dropped all my sports team sponsorships. I pulled all of my ads out of wherever my ads were. And my only marketing attempt was Taco Tuesday. And the whole goal was to be Roland with them. was the whole goal. I wasn't selling them. I didn't hand out business cards. And I share that story because business doubled that year, doubled the next year. I eventually taught my team how to do Taco Tuesday. And though I sold half of those businesses, I still own them to this day. And they have taken my place because in the end, people want connection. So to me, what's authenticity mean? It's the one thing that in this world is unfortunately still scarce, which is just this really meaningful connection with another person. Not one of the reasons I love Sean's content is rather than just seeing a walking advertising or a billboard, you're watching a human being on the other end. And there's a lot to be said for that. And I think that's what gets missed the most in a lot of people's social media content is there's a lot of adding value. And that was great when Gary Vaynerchuk told us that adding value was hot. It's not rare anymore. Value's everywhere. And so you have to start thinking, well, what value is not out there? What's new? What's not being said that I'm really, really passionate about? And to me, that's where authenticity really shines, is it's not just you being yourself, it's you being yourself within context to this kind of void in the marketplace.
So, dude, I just made a big note and put a circle around Taco Tuesday. I mean, first of all, I love tacos. And one of my suggestions to the mortgage industry is let's start doing Taco Tuesdays. Yeah. Jeremy Forcier, if you watch this, I can only imagine Jeremy doing this at scale and starting to have the J-Force Taco Tuesday event. So love that, Roland.
In his have Jeremy in his big styrofoam.
Can you just imagine?
Costume.
I mean, I really think this might become a thing. So I love that. So Sean, first of all, if you want to, comment on anything that Roland just said, feel free. But I want to make sure. Feel free to comment or ask a question, but I really want to hear what is authentic brand building, authentic leadership. What does that mean to you?
No, I think what's interesting is the story that Roland just told for his business, which is not mortgage. It's the same thing I'm doing in a different industry, right? So we all want to say that, oh, the mortgage industry is different. Roland just kind of proved it's not, right? He was doing the same thing with his referral partners that we're trying to do with ours and finding ways to find the referral partners that actually enjoy working with you. And that's really been my goal. The authenticity piece came from me from helping loan officers for 15 years and then saying, you know what, screw this, I'm going to do it myself. Wanting to do something in a way that was different because I didn't like the way most loan officers were doing things. It was very salesy and inauthentic. And I personally don't resonate well with that. And so for me, it was, I'm going to go all in on what I feel in my heart is the right thing to do. And that's what I think authenticity is. It's just being who you are and being okay with the fact that you will not help everybody. It's impossible. It's impossible to help everyone. Not everyone's going to want to work with me. Not everyone's going to like my style. So if the sooner I'm myself, the sooner I'll find people that want to work with me and it'll be more fun. And that is really what I've tried to do this whole time. And I say, be unapologetically authentic. I don't really pull punches. Like if I feel like saying something, I say it. I'm sure there's a lot of real estate agents and buyers that don't like what I have to say, and that's fine. I'm totally okay with that. And I think that's really the differentiator is that's what everyone's scared of. We're scared that if we say what we feel and we are ourselves, we're going to lose business. And I think the sooner we're ourselves, the sooner we'll do more business.
Yeah. No, agreed. I have for years now been putting some real intention on what I call leadership branding on LinkedIn. While I have a YouTube strategy, I've got, what I try to do, the change I'm trying to make in the world and the business that, I wear the jersey for, we've got a Facebook strategy, and that's having a private group, the Trust Engine group. But for LinkedIn, I try to get a post there every day, and I have some leadership principles. Anyone who knows me knows that I'm pretty passionate about innovating with technology. I also like to just be positive, a positive voice for change and growth. And so to me, I think, and I push anyone listening to this, it starts with your authentic self, but then it also, in order for you really to get legs, you got to have a clear vision on the change that you're trying to make. And like, is it, I'm a loan officer and I'm going to push everybody to think beyond being a loan officer, try to make change beyond that. Because people don't get loans because they want loans. They get loans because they want homes. And the American dream goes beyond just owning a home. It's financial freedom. So really think about, in the market that you serve, with the personality that you have, with the things that make you your most authentic self, what's your brand stand for? So let me go this. I'm going to almost pop quiz you guys on this. I'm going to let you go second, Sean. But Roland, if there were 3 things that are like your leadership brand, like, and I don't want them to be like sentences, could be one word, it could be a tweet, but like, what are 3 things that define you as a leader and your leadership brand? And then coming to you, Sean.
To me, it's, and I practice what I preach, and that's, well, there you go. I didn't mean to say that, but I mean, to me, that is, whenever I'm looking at someone that I'm going to partner with, hire, refer to, do you walk the walk? It's very, very easy to say what you're going to say, the things you're going to do. It's a very, very different to walk it every single day, because it takes an incredible amount of discipline and stick-to-itiveness. But the thing that I was going to say initially was, to me, my leadership brand's significance. And what I mean by that is, I wrote a blog the other day defining the difference between ordinary and extraordinary. Ordinary, the way it's defined is normal, and otherwise, non-distinct. And then extraordinary is unusually great, right? Noteworthy. And so to me, when we're thinking about how people think, they align themselves with people who stand out. They align themselves with people they admire. Subconsciously, this is the way I always say it. I know it sounds a little bit narcissistic potentially, but we subconsciously buy from and align with and refer to the people who we want to be like. The people that, I always say, I want my son to grow up and be like that person. I want my daughter to grow up and be like her. Those are the people. And if you look at the leaders that I'm friends with, and the people, some of the top leaders in mortgage, the ones who are winning, that's what people say. I mean, they admire them as a human being. Right. So for me, my leadership brand is a significance. And to me, not only is it the thing that makes you the most money, I think being significant is what every single person wants the most. So how beautiful is that, right? The thing that makes you the most profitable and the wealthiest, which is, a lot of our goal, is the thing that we want just as a human being to be fulfilled. Am I noticed? Am I unusually great? Do people want me around? Do I have a seat at the table? Am I leaving a legacy that people care about?
Love that. So let me net this out. So I definitely got the word significance.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely got walk your talk. You are a guy, that talks about living your authentic self, your biggest life. And we see you on social media, doing things that are out of our dreams. So I got those 2 words. I got those 2 things. What's the third?
I would say the third is, can you look at yourself in the mirror? That's what I would call it. To me, in the end, when the day is over, one of the things that provides us the most amount of just peace and confidence as a leader, as a personal brand who's influencing others is, do I feel like I did my day the best I could? I mean, in the end, regardless of how harsh the market is, regardless of the personal things that are going on in your life, the power of looking yourself in the mirror at the end of the day and saying, I did everything that I possibly could. People underestimate how the positive effect of that.
All right. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell you a way that I see you and your brand. And I want the audience, anyone that's watching this live, put like Roland equals, and it could just be one thing, but like, if you followed him on social media and he's got a leadership brand, what do you see Roland as? And by the way, I'm going to want you to do the same thing with me and the same thing with Sean. If you're watching this on our YouTube channel, like who is Roland? But by the way, to me, you're someone that plays bigger than most, like you've really turned your work into your play, and you do it bigger than anybody like maybe like anybody I know, like you're living all around the country, or excuse me, all around the world. You're playing bigger than most. Okay, so that's mine. By the way, Sean, before you give your kind of 3 pillars of your leadership brand, what's one that you see for Roland? It could be one he's said out loud, could just be like what's a word or a phrase that epitomizes his leadership brand to you?
Super easy for me. I have told Roland a million times, he is the most intentional person I have ever met. Intention. Like nothing he does is on accident or not with purpose.
Okay, sweet. All right. What are your 3?
Mine. So I would say, so you guys are both getting mad at me for this, but I don't see myself as a leader necessarily. I'm in my mind, I'm currently a loan officer, right? I left the leadership world, but I want to be in that world again. But I would say integrity is huge for me. I think a big part of being authentic is living up to your integrity and wanting more for people. So integrity, I'd say being genuine. Is genuine the same thing as authentic?
It's okay.
Is it different? I'm going to use it. Synonyms count. So, you know, be really genuine with who you are. And I don't know what my third one would be. I don't know. That's really everything to me just comes down to, I guess, trust comes to mind, but I don't know if that's a trait. Like to me, that's integrity. So I want people to do the right thing for other people. I want people to help other people. And to me, that's just being genuine, being authentic, and having integrity.
I'll put mine in the chat, but to me, you didn't say the one that I admire you the most. And everyone in our coaching program looks at you this way. And it is, to me, it's your greatest asset. Sean Herrero is uncompromising. Ooh. That to me, that is the one thing that's been so apparent as long as I have known you on social and known you as a person, is uncompromising. And not a lot of people can say that.
Yeah, I know Sean, you know, both on stage, I've interviewed him a lot, and off stage, I've hung out with him, and he really is, you know, that is so true. He has said no to me many a times for different things. And it was like, just, hey dude, the guy has his beat, and it's uncompromising. So by the way, the one I'm going to give to you, which is also the most important leadership brand that I've built my career on. And I really feel like you're a soul brother at this, which your advice makes a difference. Yeah. Like, you know, when I think of, you know, everything you've done on social media, you are a guy whose advice makes a difference. Like if you are a realtor, your advice makes a difference. If you are a home buyer, your advice makes a difference. If you're in trouble financially and you want to own a home, your advice makes a difference. So, and for me, you know, the 2 that I've really, my entire career has been innovator. You know, I don't know if people know this, but like I grew up wanting to be an inventor, you know, like I wanted to invent something. And then because I'm ADD and dyslexic, you know, when I encountered spell check for the first time, I was like, holy shit, I'm loving technology. You know, I could talk to someone, you know, like we're getting back into the 80s, the early 90s. Like I could talk to someone, I could write a, you know, literate versus an illiterate letter to them. And ever since then, I've wanted to innovate with technology. Wherever technology can improve selling, marketing, and service, like I'm attracted to that. I move to that. I like to think I'm a change agent, you know, but the 3 words, you know, my advice makes a difference. I think that's 4 words. Those 4 words really are what took me from a top producer, you know, like top producer in a small brokerage with a dozen people, to, you know, literally one of the 50 top loan officers in America. And the you know, I think I was number 1 or 2 in Orange County. It was my advice makes a difference. And I worked hard to be that guy. You know, I innovated MortgageCoach to be that guy. So that's mine. So by the way, guys, anyone watch this, I would love to know, like, what is, there's one word or a phrase as to how do you think of Dave Savage as a leader? I'd love to know it. Please give Sean the favor of letting him know what you see him at, for anyone that follows him on social, and do the same for Roland. All right, guys. So I feel like first quarter done. Like we've talked about what is, a leadership brand. Let's talk about how to turn it into loans. Let's talk about how to turn it into gaining market share with realtors. And Sean, why don't you go first? Because you're the guy in the trenches. You're spending a lot of time getting coached on social media, building a leadership brand. Did you go to Neil's conference recently? Because I know you've been to Neil's Forward conference. Like, what are you doing, and what are you doing in the marketplace to kick ass and gain market share and get loans?
So I like the advice. You're right. So I had a call right before this that I was invited to, kind of impromptu, no schedule, 100 realtors on it. And I could talk about anything and give advice on anything that they wanted to know about off the top of my head. Like, I just know this industry so well, and I know how to speak to what I think home buyers and home sellers are thinking, that it helps real estate agents be better at what they do. At the same time, I can overcome the fears and objections that home buyers might have, that I'm not going to convince anyone to ever buy a house. Like, no one should ever convince someone to do something they're not sure of. But if they have fear in the way of something they want, I want to help them overcome that fear. That's really what I focus on. And you're right, it's advice. Like, I want to give people the best advice so that they can make the most educated decision. They may not like the advice, but at least they got it to decide what was best for them. As far as marketing it, that I got to be on that call because of my presence on social media. If I wasn't on social media, putting out the information and showing who I authentically am, I would not have been invited on that call this morning. I didn't hound them to have coffee and let me be on your coaching call. They invited me to be in because they already know who I am for the most part. So, with Neil's event, what Neil, I think, has done is incredible, is creating a formula to get a lot of information out in a very short way. I think what I struggle with it a little bit is people are just doing what they're told instead of figuring out how to make it their own. And for me, everything has always been figure out how to make it your own. And that's what I'm trying to do. I don't use scripts. Dave knows I hate the word scripts. I don't use scripts at all. If I see a problem and I can think of a solution, I want to get it out to as many people as fast as I possibly can. And social has become the best place to do that. Social being YouTube, Instagram, whatever. I put a video on YouTube yesterday morning about how there is no 40-year FHA loan coming out, even though everyone's saying there is. Not everyone, a lot of people are giving that bad information. A guy called me yesterday afternoon. I had 10 views and one of them called me, right? So it's just being like, if you see a solution, show people the solution. We have a duty to help as many people as you can get past all the noise that's in the world these days.
Yeah, be valuable. And that is something I also think, again, I don't think that's a leadership brand, but that is a personality trait, a habit, a character trait you have, is that you want to be valuable to people. You want to be a person of value and beyond your job, beyond the transaction. Like, how can I be valuable in a way that is unexpected and not expected? But by the way, Roland, I came up with just kind of a play on your significance, and I've actually evolved how I see you. I'm kind of like, mine plays bigger than most to create significance personally and for others.
Yeah.
Like, that is how I post this interview and this conversation we're having. Like, you're a guy that wants significance for yourself, and you want that for other people, and you're dedicated to that. So anyway, just FYI, that's where I landed on you. And Sean, I'm still just like, your advice makes a difference, and you are absolutely uncompromising with, your authenticity and just kind of your unique way of doing things. So Roland, I'm going to throw the question to you, and then Sean, I want to get more tactical when I come back to you, like specific content you've created, specific things you've done, so that anyone that's tuned into this little session we're having, they can like go get loans now, or go do this and get move the needle with realtors, get realtor meetings, anything that would be loans now or competitive advantage with realtors. I want to get that out of you before we run out of time.
Mhm.
So Roland, what are you coaching people to do so that they're not just busy on social media and busy trying to create this leadership brand, but they're getting business? You know, what comes to mind when I say that?
You know, for me, where I always like to start is just to make sure people understand how social works. It's really, think of a business card that instead of just having your name, your email address, and your phone number, think of having a business card that you could hand to somebody that showed them what you stand for, what you value most, where your heart's at, how hard you've worked, the challenges you've overcome. That's how I see social. And I want to bring that up because I think a lot of people, they think people are going to see their content. That, like, the psychology of people, they think that when they post something, they really do. They believe that, you know, a lot of their realtor partners are going to see that post, and the algorithm shows your post to 8% of your friends and followers. And most of those people are people from high school, and they're not necessarily your referral partners or people who are in a position to buy a home. So I like to clear that up, that really the power of social and the way that it works is when people migrate back to your profile. I really want everyone to understand that. And this goes for even the biggest influences in the industry. People see the post, the comment, whatever it is, they click on your name. That's how this whole thing goes. Think about it. When you've seen somebody that you are starting to interest in, you're like, I want to maybe follow this person, learn more. You click on their name. And I just really want to clear that up, because if you're going to have this kind of a presence, you need to build it so that they click on your name. And then when they click on your name, most importantly is, what do they see? And people don't take that initial, but the data shows, Google Analytics has shown that there's 3.8 seconds. So in 3.8 seconds, they decide whether they're going to hit the back button or if they're going to continue to scroll, follow, book a call, whatever it is. That's how quick they make their decision. So I share all of that to say, really, when you're trying to show up in a significant way, think about it, don't post for that post, because that's going to get lost in the feed. And the chances are, I mean, how many do you guys scroll past in the feed? I scroll past probably 95% of the posts that are on there. I'm just not interested in watching a video about that at the moment. So post so that it's banked on your business card. I've got a lot of people when somebody will finally come into my sphere and they'll like a photo from like 7 weeks ago. 14 weeks ago, they'll like something, right? And that's just showing, and this is a significant person, right? So it just shows you that when you're driving traffic towards your profile, you're telling them a story they like. So that's what I would say. The second piece of advice that I would give people, I know we're a little zoomed out right now, and I promise that Sean and I will zoom in more, but the second piece I want everybody to understand is, are you remembered? Do you look different? Right. So now that you've brought them into your world, you're doing all these things. You're teaching classes. You're inviting people to this happy hour. You're doing all the cold calls. You're putting yourself through all of this work. In the end, do you look like another loan officer, or do you look different? Are you extraordinary? Are you worth remembering? And I'll make it as simple as possible. Those who are worth remembering are different. They're different in one key way. Everyone always talks about the it factor, charisma, whatever it is. When you walk into that networking room and there's one person that you see and everyone's like, that person's different, that guy's different, that woman's different. Here's the factor. They're not there for money. They're there because there is a cause that they believe in. There's a change they're trying to make, and they know the money's going to come. But that is the biggest difference. People can tell. Now, I say this, the difference between those at the elite level and those at the average level isn't their products. It's not their rates. The reason that they win every single time is because a referral to them means so much more. Whereas when you look at your average person, they're working to stop working. And that's the truth. Most people are working so that they can stop working. And it's just not an attractive, there's just no compelling reason for me to refer to you. So when you're really thinking about your brand, how can you make it more evident that there's a change you want to make? And it's so darn important to you. Because when I think of all of the leaders that I admire in mortgage, they all stand, one of the things that I wanted to highlight with Sean was that was what he was talking about, was like, I am here to help. And when you are on Sean's profile, there is no doubt in your mind that that's what he's there for. He's not playing for loans. He's not playing for money. The hustle is not what he's after, creating a change, because he knows if he creates a big enough movement, the money's just going to come. And that, like I said, that is the biggest difference between most people in the room and that networking event is most people are trying to work so they can stop working one day. Sean shows up. That's not what's on his mind at all. He's trying to build a legacy, make a difference. Dave, same thing with Dave. When I see Dave, that's the obvious thing when he's in the room. He's connecting with others. He's innovating. He's listening at areas that he can add value. He's trying to learn something. He's not there to profit off of the other people there. And so people can tell. That's the last thing I'll say is it's obvious what game you're playing.
Wow, that was powerful, and I couldn't agree more than what you said. And I think when I think of all the interviews I've done, the most successful loan officers, $100 million producers, they're just playing a different game than the 3 loan a month loan officer that's quoting rates, closing loans, and the movement I'm passionate about, what I call this advice revolution that's taking place in mortgage, that I'm passionate about changing, the narrative that loan officers are not in the business of doing loans. They're in the business of helping families achieve financial freedom with home ownership. Financial freedom is powerful. Financial freedom is hard. And there's just not enough professionals doing that. So that was awesome. Sean, anything you want to ask Roland or play off of that before I come back to you and get some real tactical ideas at it from you?
Well, yeah, the only thing I'll say is I think for the people that are listening and watching this, when Roland said we're going to go high level, I promise we'll get granular. The high level that Roland talks about is the most important thing you can do to figure out what your granular is. And the majority of us don't want to do that. We just want, what should my Instagram post be? Like, I don't want to do any soul searching. I don't want to figure out who my audience is. What should my post be so I can get loans? And that isn't what Roland does. And I think that's why I resonate so much with me. He's the only person I've ever worked with. Right. And it's because it's different, but most people don't want to do that. And that's the most important thing you can do. Because how can you be authentic and reach the people you want to reach if you don't take the time to figure out who is it that I want to serve?
And Dave, I'll say one thing about you too. To me, what Dave's doing, Dave is making it easier for you to be significant. When I see Mortgage Coach, Dave's whole mission is, I'm going to make it brainless for you and your team to deliver epic mortgage advice so that you can focus on being more significant. So when I see somebody like Dave and the Trust Engine, what I see there is, how can we make your job of delivering amazing level the new standard so that you can go off and be more of yourself? So that's what I see with Dave, is he's saving more people time so they can be more of themselves rather than worrying about the stuff that Mortgage Coach makes easy.
Well, first of all, thank you. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, let me just piggyback on that too, because what I see in Dave is not someone who said, I'm going to build a software company so I can make millions of dollars. I want to change people's lives. And I want to make sure that loan officers become mortgage advisors. And that will impact and change people's lives forever. That's what I see with everything you've done.
Yeah. And that's it. And to break this down into some bite-sized tactics for people to do that, some of it is data. Like, be at the right place at the right time. If someone's cheating on you and they're running a credit report with another lender, like we verify that 5 times a day. Like, even people that have inquiry alerts, most lenders, it's like a weekly upload. So you're calling like 4 days later, 3 days later, like, no, let's be there. Someone is getting ready to cheat on you, know if they did it in the morning, know it by the afternoon. If their equity went up, be at the right place. If a cash out alert triggered, which means they have equity, but they have more debt than what would be perfect, like, you need to go to that family. And then when it comes to actually helping someone make a mortgage decision, guys, just showing, hey, here's your rate, here's your payment, here's your cash to close. That's what loan officers do. An advisor, like, let's show options. Let's look at those options over time so that the total cost over time is looked at. And then number 3, let's look at strategies, specific strategies, prepaying the mortgage, investing money in an asset account. Like, by the way, that's the tactics of what we do. So Sean, let's go tactical. What are you, okay, you got this leadership brand, you're creating this content, and you could go either way. Like, how is this going to help you win more realtors now, or get more referrals from realtors? Or how is this going to help you get more loans now? Like, that's what people need. What are you doing?
And this is what gets hard, is because I do what I feel in my heart is the right thing to do. So my content is, this just happened, I don't agree with it, or I see an opportunity, so I'm going to create content about this. The best, most recent example I have, you can go to my YouTube channel and see a 5-minute video about a 40-year loan on FHA that doesn't exist. And you will also see an Instagram reel about the same concept. Both of those were made between 8 and 9 a.m. yesterday and published immediately, because I felt it was that important. There was no script. There's no data saying, hey, you should do this so you get 1 million views. There's bad advice, and it's my duty to overcome it. So that is of value to realtors and home buyers, right? But it wasn't for any reason other than I want people to have good advice. And that's why I did that. So what I have been,
you hear how many times you said the word advice? Like, my advice matters. You should think about, Sean Herrero. My advice makes a difference.
The advisor lender.
Well, no, you can still be the adventure lender.
But what I've been doing, so for real estate presentations, everything to me is psychology, right? I tell everyone that what I do for a living is 4th grade math and psychology. So what are home buyers' fears? What are home buyers' wants? They want prices to go down so they can afford a house. Based on the data that's available, I can show them why that's not going to happen. And if I can show a home buyer why it's not going to happen, I can help more home buyers indirectly if I show more realtors why it's not going to happen. So I'm taking the end goal of someone, I want to buy a home, but I'm scared that I can't afford it, or I want prices to go down, or I'm frustrated, whatever that emotion is. And I want to help them overcome that. And then I'm just taking that same information and showing it to real estate agents so that they can share it as well. That's what my workshops are. If anybody came to Momentum Builder, I literally showed you the presentation I'm doing to this day that is about to be irrelevant. It kind of already is, but I that's what I speak to. Here's what I'll tell you where I got lost. Maybe I can help to understand what we should be doing by telling you what I shouldn't have done last year. My whole thing has always been to be unapologetically authentic and do what I feel is right, and kind of do the opposite of what everyone else is doing. Last year, when Reels became super popular, I fell into that, doing the exact same thing everyone else was doing. And it didn't feel right. It took me 9 months to realize that I like this format. I can make a huge difference in people's lives with this format, but why am I doing it in this way? Right. And then I got to a place of saying, I can use the format in my own unique voice, and that makes me feel better. So it's all the feels, I guess, but everything I do comes back to how it feels. So I just look at it and go, I can help more people if I can help get through the noise that is everywhere now. Reels are kind of a negative thing. They're not, and when I say reels, I mean short form content overall. And I said something about this yesterday, this 40-year FHA loan that was going to roll out May 1st. I saw so many realtors post reels about it. I saw so many loan officers post reels about it, and I couldn't find the program. And on May 2nd, I researched it and I'm like, hey, am I missing something? Where is this? It never existed. But what happened is one realtor or one loan officer interpreted the information inaccurately, made a reel about it. Their competitors saw it and said, oh my gosh, if they're talking about this, I need to talk about it too. And then it just snowballed. And then all of a sudden there's all this bad information all over the internet. And I'm like, what just happened? I need to overcome this. That's my tactic, is help people see what's real so they can make an educated decision.
So yeah, see what's real. So quick question. Think in recent memory, what is the most ROI? You got the most leads, you got the most value. Could have been, you only got one realtor. Could have been, you got 5 leads. If someone was stalking you on social media, what's the most valuable post in recent memory?
So it's, Roland said this about me earlier. So my my mission statement came from Yvon Chouinard, who started Patagonia's mission statement. He said, make the best product, cause no unnecessary harm. Very clear what his company does. Mine was provide the best solutions and service, make a difference in the lives of others. I don't know which post had the biggest ROI because I don't think about the money. I don't. I just hope to do the right thing for people and the money will follow. But I will say from a realtor impact. So another thing I've gotten very clear on is who I want to serve and who likes working with me. Realtors resonate well with me. So I want to be in front of more realtors, right? So I am the do as many real estate presentations as you can guy. I like one to many, right? So I did a presentation with a group of realtors, probably 60 realtors. I spoke about how rates are going down. We have the lowest inventory we've had in 25 years. If you take these two graphs and you show them to a home buyer or home seller, it's almost impossible to argue with where the market is going. Home prices are going up. That presentation has led to more one-on-one meetings with realtors reaching out to me because I gave valuable information that solves people's problems. So I would say that presentation, which I presented at Momentum Builder, has had the biggest ROI
Have you
for me
created
this
any
year.
social media content around that? Have you like
Oh
made
yeah,
a video?
yeah, I've done reels on it. I've done like, and you'll see the charts. You're like, people are going to ask us for the charts, right? They're all over my Instagram. They're all over my YouTube.
How about, would you be willing to do
Yeah.
this interview with me on, Sean Herrero's best realtor one-to-many meeting?
Sure, sure.
Okay, so guys, if you want us to do that, we'll prioritize it based off of comments down below. So whether you're watching this at Facebook or YouTube, let Sean and I know if you want us to create this piece of content for you. So Roland, coming to you with, because remember, I feel like anyone that tuned in to us having this wrap session got value. They got a lot of strategic value, they got some clarity, but everybody needs loans now. Like they need loans now, they need new realtors now. Think of your clients, if there was a piece of content or something you just want to tell people, like this would be the thing. You want loans now, you want realtors now, what comes to mind?
Yeah, here's it's a no-brainer for me. I call it direct outreach. It's Roland's name for it. People call it whatever. It's essentially cold calling without calling. And the reason I led this conversation with really, making your profile reflect you as a significant individual is, to me, you can't do and you shouldn't do. I'm gonna go really bold. I'm gonna say you shouldn't be posting at all until that's figured out, because the whole philosophy of posting is driving people to your profile. I mean, that's what happens. They click your name. Guys, please listen to me. That's the philosophy of how this whole thing works. They go to your profile. If they don't know you, and if they do know you, it's the second or third time, they still go to your profile because it's like, all right, maybe I need to reach out to this person, or there's something I missed about this individual. So it's a direct outreach strategy. So what that is it's, think about a cold calling list, except for this list can be way longer and you can hit them at quadruple the rate in a way more meaningful way. So what direct out, I use a program called Nimble, NIMBLE.com. You don't need to, you can use Excel spreadsheet, it really doesn't matter. You can use your current CRM, doesn't matter. All Nimble is a super affordable CRM. And the reason I do it is on the left-hand side, you're going to see a button that says keep in touch. And I do it because I have all of my referral partners on this list, and with a click of a button, I can reset their keep in touch strategy, and I can tell them, do I want to touch them weekly? Do I want to touch them monthly, quarterly? How often do I want to touch this person? And so all you're doing is, and I prefer social, and here's why. So let's say the name on the list is Sally. She's a realtor. So you go in, she'll be at the top of your list because you haven't touched her for a long time. So Nimble's telling you that she's up for a touch. You go, okay, I search Sally in the search bar on Facebook or Instagram. I usually make a little note of which platform they are most active on. Here's why I love this far more than cold calling. Social, when someone posts on social, they want you to engage. They want a like, they want a comment, they want you to share it. They want you to. It is invited. That's the whole point of doing it. They want eyeballs on it. And so same with a story. When they post a story, same thing. What a great opportunity for you to send someone a message. By the way, when you comment on their story, it goes into their inbox. So careful with that because it's a little invasive. But my point being, have this list somewhere where you can routinely, through a direct outreach strategy. I touch 15 a day. I've had clients who touch 20 a day. Listen up. This is without question the most lucrative strategy I have ever experienced myself or taught a loan officer. I'm going to say that one more time. A direct outreach strategy daily, every morning for 18 minutes is without question the most lucrative strategy I have ever taught. And all of my clients would vouch for that. And so all you're doing is intentionally every morning touching 15, 20, 10, whatever, pick a number that's not a nuisance for you. And you are going on that list, you are searching them on Facebook, Instagram, and you are engaging in something that they have done in the last week in a really meaningful, authentic way. If you don't have anything to say, I'll skip that person and I'll say, well, I'll check up with them next, and I'll check up with them next week. And you'll hit the little button, you'll reset the reminder, they'll go to the bottom of the list and they'll pop up again whenever you told Nimble to remind you. But the whole philosophy here is they're seeing your name, sure, similar to a cold call touch. And then they have this is why I love it so much. They have the opportunity to click your name. That's what's going to happen. They're going to say, all right, who is this role? And you know what also happens? I've had people who have seen me interacting with their friend who is like, why does this person know this person? They click on my name. And now I have somebody from outside of my sphere come into my sphere because they saw me interacting with one of their friends. I'm open to a lot of other I've created a Loom video with this, but in a nutshell, that brings in loans and referral partners today. Again, I'm going to say this little footnote though, your profile needs to convert. Because if you do this whole thing and they come back to your profile and your profile doesn't convert, your only call to action is apply for a mortgage and your banner photo on the top is a picture of you and the family. It's just not super compelling. So please, guys, really think about your profile before you initiate the strategy.
So I love that 18 minutes a day, a direct outreach. My advice to anyone that is fortunate enough to have Trust Engine is that you make sure, if not all 18 minutes, many of the 18 minutes are insight driven, where, and remember guys, like right now, one of the biggest trends we're seeing, hot opportunity, the two hottest opportunities in the Trust Engine platform right now are one, listing alerts. Every one of those listing alerts is a reach out to a realtor. And if you're an advisor, you can be showing that realtor strategies to sell that home faster and more efficiently, and a TCA for the seller to be the first one, like, hey, they just listed our home. Congratulations. I've got some ideas to help you with your next home. And I've got some ideas to help you sell your current home. So like, that's an insight driven reach out. The cash out refis, we're finding a surprising amount of these cash out refis are turning into people selling their homes. They're turning into purchase deals because people are taking all of their cash out. And then in many cases, they're paying off debt. They're doing what they need to do. And then they're buying their next home for 5 to 10% down. So think about that. Like if you were a loan officer and you did a reach out to someone in your database that you just know they've got equity, they could list their home, they've got debt, they're in pain, we know how high rates are at, you did a reach out, boom, it will turn into both cash out refis and anyways, I could go on and on around needs-based reach outs. Sean, write down this term. Tell me if you've heard the term speed to lead. The new term that we're coining at Trust Engine is speed to need. Like being the first one to a need, whether that's a realtor's need, whether that's a home buyer's need, whether that's a home seller's need, that's where the gold is. So I love what you shared. So guys, we are almost out of time. I'm gonna do closing thoughts. Sean, since you're battling in the trenches right now, what are your closing thoughts for anyone tuning into this chat?
I feel like I never give that tactical, like, what, Sean, how do I go get this right now? And I think you can't do what I do. That's inauthentic. Like, it defeats the whole purpose of the call, right? I just want to get people's minds turning on how they can help other people. And that's what I just, as Dave was wrapping up with speed to need, like the word lead, I hate that word, right? That's a salesy word. I love speed to need because I'm actually trying to help someone, right? So what everyone on this call wants to do is help other people. If you want to do more business faster, figure out how you can help more people faster. Like how you personally, in your own authentic way, can help more people faster.
Love that. Roland, closing thoughts.
People need to stop trying so hard to create a personal brand and become the person that they want to brand.
Wow. So think about this, guys, you know, as we wrap this up, you know, I mean, Sean's a man whose advice makes a difference. He has fun being that guy. He's the adventure lender. I mean, he works out of a van a lot. He, you know, does a lot of adventurous, fun things. And so when you are that person, you're living in your authenticity. It really does get easy. So, you know, the biggest push to everyone listening to this is, you know, schedule some time. You know, what is your mission? You know, my mission is to change how people get into debt in America, you know, really reshaping the mortgage experience so that it's not just an experience to get into debt. It's an experience to achieve financial freedom with real estate. Like, I'm really clear on that, and I get fired up on it. And I'm really curious around what Roland is going to share, what Sean's going to share. Get clear on that, guys, and then it'll be easy. The tactical stuff is easy. You know, on LinkedIn, you know, you do need to post daily. So I don't know if that's the case with all social media. You know, with our YouTube channel, you know, our formula has been to post at least 3 times a week. You know, we're putting new videos in there so that it's constant source of value. LinkedIn, you know, weekdays, I'm a constant source of value. You know, yeah, I'll get personal and share some things so that you feel like you know me. Well, you do know me in a way that I'm intentional with sharing, and then throw right hooks.
Mm-hmm.
So, Roland, closing thoughts, what you got?
Mm-hmm. Here's what I'll say. And Sean already said it earlier, he doesn't want to do what everyone else is doing. That's what I would say. I mean, if you're seeing it common, it's become ordinary and it is not extraordinary. And in a competitive market, being extraordinary is how you win. And in my opinion, the thing in this economy that is extraordinary are people who are doing significant things. People are fueled by something other than just trying to get a loan. It is when you field that phone call from a lender, it is very, very different when I get that call from Sean than when I get it from somebody else who's trying to close a loan. I'm just telling everybody, people can tell where you're sourcing your energy from.
All right. So here's my closing thought. And if you got value from this, give it a like. But guys, we're in mortgage. And anyone who has seen what ChatGPT can do and what AI can do, it's like technology is here in a very prolific, a very profound way. And the path forward is extreme authenticity. You know, it's a high emotional IQ. And then it's AQ, you know, be an advisor, like be someone whose advice makes a difference. And if you build a brand and you use social media for good, like you're actually doing it in a way that is bringing the local truth and the personal value to the people that follow you, guys, not only do you not need to worry about being disrupted, you'll be the captain of the wealth team. You will be the most valuable to every consumer in your database. You will be more valuable than a CPA, a financial planner. And you know what else? You'll be incredibly valuable to real estate agents. So those are my closing thoughts. I hope you all got value from this. Remember, subscribe to both the Mortgage Coach YouTube channel and the Trust Engine YouTube channel. I just posted an interview with Steve Brown, who just finished being undercover with DeepMind, which is Google's AI platform. He was also the chief futurist of Intel. I interviewed him, and then every day this week, we're releasing a little micro piece of content. So make sure you follow that on our Trust Engine YouTube channel. Take care, everybody. This is a wrap.
Be safe.
Thanks for having me. Bye, you guys.
Thanks.